Let's go shopping. Get out the video, Wayne.
Sorry, I'm out of the way.
Hi guys, welcome back to Reef Exotics. Today we've come down to TMC, our main fish and coral wholesaler. We're going to take you for a bit of a wander around, show you what the facility has, and we're going to show you exactly how we pick and source our fish and corals. So when we first come into the fish house, we've got to decide whether we want to start with fish or we're going to start with corals. We're going to start with corals, so let's go grab a tray and get started. So now we've come over to the coral bays, we've got our tray and our light. So we're going to go between the bays, picking out what we want. We've just got to fill this up with water, as obviously the corals need to be kept in the water. So we just dunk that in there. We've got our water ready, let's go shopping. We're going to start at the Eco Reef frag section. As you can see, all of the corals are pre-fragged up for us. So we're just going to use our torch and pick through exactly what we want. So we picked out a few hammers. Now these mushrooms have really caught my eye. They're nice and colourful, not expensive either, so we'll definitely be picking a few of them up. So one of the good things about coming down and picking all your own stuff is that you can see exactly what you want. There's lots of different ones here, but I can pick the exact 3 or 4 that I want, so I know exactly what I'm getting. These are all the frags we're getting. We're going to take a wander around all the bays and pick up lots of colonies, which we might keep colonies or frag down ourselves. So let's go for a wander and see what we find. So these gold tip cats are awesome. We'll definitely be picking one of them up. So obviously they've got loads of bays here, but they've also got the raceway where newish stuff tends to go. So it's always handy to use your light and have a little look, because you never know what you might find. There's some really nice green torches there, so I'm definitely going to pick one of them up. The main thing is with the raceway, make sure you don't fall in it. So I very nearly did slip in it once. So we filled up this tray from over there. We're going to put it down on the packing bench. And we're going to grab another tray and go into the other coral room. There's a few clams in here. I'm just going to pick a couple of them up and straight in the water. Another tray there. We need to grab a third tray and go and get some acros because they're in a separate system, so we can't put them in this water. So the first thing we've got to do is turn the flow off. So if we press this button, all the flow on the surface stops, so we can actually look at stuff. This will be our last acro, so we will put it with our others. We'll return this with our others, and then we'll grab some nets and start catching some fish. So now we've got our corals, we need to grab some nets and some buckets, and then we can start catching our fish. So we've got 3 different size nets, because we've got 3 different size tanks to catch from. So when we catch our fish, they all get put in these buckets, and then we stack them on here by the packing area, ready to be packed up for us to take home. So we're going to start at the far side. I like to do this so I don't miss anything, and then we gradually work our way through, seeing all the fish and picking exactly what we want. So all we do is scoop some water out of a tank, and then we'll take it down here and start catching some fish. We're mixing the food up. So when we come to pick our fish, we have the luxury of actually feeding the fish before we buy them. So all TMC fish are pretty spot on, but at least we can make sure they're feeding well before we buy them to sell them in the shop. So this is perfect when we've got a lot of the same fish. We can chuck food in all of them, and then we can see exactly what 1 or 2 we want of that species. So, I mean, this one and this one, they're eating pretty profusely. So I'm probably going to take this one here as it's a little bit bigger, which is what we're looking for. So we're going to grab our medium-sized net, and all we do is scoop him up and straight into our water. So we've got our steps. As I said before, I'm not very tall, so to get up here, we just need to lift open this little lid, and then we can catch this pair. Catch the male, and then we'll come back for the female. Depending on the fish species, they can go in the same bucket, because they're not going to be in there for very long anyway. Got our first bucket full. We'll pop it down here, go fill up our other buckets, and we'll just gradually start catching more and more. So I'm going to catch some fish out of this bigger bay, so definitely means a bigger net. So one of the things I love about coming here is that you can have all of these fish in the tank, all the same species, but you can pick the exact one that you want. Hurts a bit to touch it. So I think that'll complete our fish stack. We need to get some inverts now, so we don't need these for them because they're not very fast. So we can just pick them up. So we'll get some buckets and grab some inverts. So the invert system, we've got this long bit here, and then we've got another section in the other room. I'm just going to grab our buckets, go along and pick what we want. So inside these little cups we've got a shrimp and a goby in there, pistol shrimp goby pair, which is quite cool. That's from the wild like that, so we'll definitely have one of them quickly out the water and in. So the last thing on our list is these little red starfish. They keep them in the coral bays just to it's a bit bigger for them to wander around and scavenge. So we're just going to pick a few of them up. Just got to be quick. Out and in the water with them. So that's all of our inverts done. Let's go put them on our stack, and then we're going to speak to Steve, one of the fish house managers, and he's going to tell us about how the fish, corals and inverts get from the sea to here, as you've seen how they get from here to my shop. So let's get these over there and we'll speak to him. Yeah. So we're joined by Steve. He's the fish house manager at TMC Bristol in front of their lovely Lego tank. And Steve's going to talk to us about how the fish get from the reef to TMC. Because obviously we've seen how I catch the fish from TMC and take them back to the shop. So Steve's going to tell us about how TMC do that, as they're very ethical on their short supply chains and stuff like that.
So yeah, so we try and concentrate on short supply lines. So we want a minimum amount of time from the fish being on the reef to the fish being in the TMC tank. So what we do is we've got dedicated facilities in places like Fiji and the Maldives. We put an order through the week before, and the divers go out and net catch the specific species that we've asked for at the specific sizes.
Yeah.
Obviously, the less time they're in their facility, the less time they have to get skinny, or they're basically a reef fish is a healthy fish.
Yeah, fresh.
So it's fresh, it's healthy, it's fat,
yeah,
it's vibrant. So we put their order in, they catch it, they have it in their facility for 3 to 5 days, and then they'll ship it over to us.
Yeah, nice.
So it's literally a week and a half from being on the reef to being in a TMC tank. Yeah.
I think the point of that is it saves it going from like one person to the next person, then to the next person,
Exactly,
and then it gets sent here, and then it goes to another person, and then it comes to a tank.
Exactly.
Which can unfortunately happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So if you're consoling stuff, then it's going to be the diver's going to catch it, then he's going to sell it to another diver, then it's going to sell it on the beach, then it's going to go across however many islands, getting sold in through 5-10 different hands before it then gets packed in a box and shipped.
And every time it's a different bag, a different water, constant stress on the fish.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas what you guys are for is getting it straight from the reef to the TMC, basically, whatever TMC site that is. Yeah. Pretty much sums up exactly how TMC get from the reef to TMC. So now Steve's going to actually show us around the filtration room out the back. I thought you guys might like to see that, so let's follow Steve and head out there.
So this is the pump room, it moves all the water around the fish house. So we've got 11 pumps here for the fish system, and then another 5 at the end there for the invert system.
So obviously these pumps are massive, but look how big this valve is. It's huge. So where's this thing?
So this is our resi room. So you've got 50,000 litre fish system here with the reservoirs for this. We've got fluid tram towers for this one, trickle towers, and then these are our mixing bins.
What's that?
Salt water. Skimmers on the fish.
We have 4 big skimmers on the fish system. And then, is that 2 for the invert?
2 for the inverts.
So that's the reservoir for the invert system. And then what's in these?
So that's an RO.
Like a top-up?
RO top-up,
Yeah, that's the RO top-up.
And more fluid tram towers and trickle towers.
Bloody hell. Look at the size of them skimmers. How long would that last?
3 weeks, I'd say.
So that's 3 weeks worth of salt though. There must be 50, 60 bags easy. That's a lot of salt. So this is the UV room, I presume?
Yeah, so obviously this backs onto the fish house. So
Oh,
you've
so
got
the fish house on the other
fish
side
house
of
is
that
on the
wall.
other side of the wall, and the UV's at the back. And there's a lot of UVs.
That is a lot of UV. That's a lot of bulbs to change.
Indeed.
Bloody hell. That's a bit bigger than your normal 40mm elbow. Jesus Christ. How big that must be, what? 6, 8 inches across? That's massive.
Yeah.
So we're back where we started again, guys, just outside the door. That concludes our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously we had a look how we catch our fish, we pick our corals and our inverts. Steve kindly shared some information with us how TMC go about getting the stuff and showed us filtration rooms, which is awesome to see. So if you did enjoy it, give it a like, share, subscribe. We've got loads more of this type of content coming, kind of showing you a bit behind the scenes. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.